Hi, my name is Jonathan Castillo, and today I will present the case of Ualá. Ualá is a fintech company that started in Argentina and later expanded into Mexico and Colombia. Its main goal is to improve financial inclusion in a region where many people still lack access to traditional financial services. Throughout the presentation, I will also connect the case-to-case themes from the course, such as business environments, trade agreements, economic sectors, and cultural diversity. In additionally, I will explain the main difficulties and challenges Walla faced during participation. And one of Wallace's first major challenges in the low level and financial inclusion in Latin America. Although this represents an opportunity, it also brings important barriers. Many users distrust financial institutions and other lack basic financial education, and many people live in areas with limited internet access. And what I had to adjust in strategy by offering simple, accessible, and easy to use financial products to attract people who had never used digital financial services before. In digitalization and technology adoption, even how digital adoption in the region in increasing the digital divide remains a significant challenge. While I want to build a fully digital platform where many users struggle with understanding how to use a financial app or like it good internet connectivity. In rural areas, people still prefer cash over digital tools, while I had to invest heavily in digital education and customer support to help users overcome these barriers. And competition was another major obstacle while competes not only with traditional banks but also with other fintech startups, neobanks, and global platforms such as Mercado Pago and Nubank. In markets like Mexico, the fintech sector is growing rapidly, increasing competitive pressure, and Walla had to differentiate himself through a strong user experience, lower cost, and strategy to build drugs in countries where many people still prefer handling cash or visiting physical branches. And regulation pose additional challenges in Mexico, for example, the fintech law establishes strict requirements that increase the operational costs. In Colombia, the sandbox models allow controlled testing of new technologies, but each country still has its own rules and procedures. In Argentina, while more flexible, face economic volatility and complicated long-term planning. Walla have had to invest in legal compliance, the data protection, prevention, and identity verification in order to operate safely in each market. So Wallace secured strong financial support from major investors and such as Soban and Soros Fund. However, this also brought pressure to maintain sustainable growth. Argentina high inflation cycles affect both users and the company itself. Um, it's complicated credit strategies and long-term financial planning. This environment forces Walla to constantly adapt its product and operation. Walla benefits from operating in technology hubs like Buenos Aires, Mexico City, and Bogota. These clusters offer access to talent, innovation, and collaborative network. And however, the competition for skilled professional is intensive and development costs are high. Despite their challenge, technology clusters have played a key role in helping Walla build scalable and innovative financial products. Free trade agreements. The free trade agreements create a more stable environment for invest and technological cooperation in the region. However, they also demand higher standards for transparency, data protection, and digital security. Cross-border interoperability is still limited, making regional expansion difficult. And even so, trade agreements offer clear pathways for growth and access to new markets. Although Walla operates from strong technological clusters, it must adapt to realities of each local economy. In Argentina, inflation affects user behavior. In Mexico, cash is still widely preferred. In Colombia, young population adopt technology quickly, but rural areas remain cash-dependent. Each country presents and distinct cultural and economic challenges, so Walla cannot really a single universal strategy. Even though Walla belongs to the tertiary sector, its influence extends to primary and secondary sectors as well. Reaching rural population in the primary sector is difficult due to limited internet access. In the secondary sector, Wallach um, competes with banks that already serve small industries. Its strongest impact is in the tertiary sector, where in simplifiers, payments, e-commerce, and digital services. Each sector presents different challenges and especially when trying to digitalize cash based economies. Cultural diversity also creates the challenges for Walla. In Argentina, many people distort traditional banks. In Mexico, users often prefer face-to-face customer services. In Colombia, young people adopt technology quickly, but rural regions still really on cash. Walla had to adapt in communication, marketing, and customer services to fit the cultural and demographic characteristics of each market. The financial frameworks and economic conditions slowly shaped Walla operation. Argentina instability, Mexico competitive fintech market, and Colombia's regulatory evolution and required flexibility and constant adjustment. Improving digital infrastructure and maintained secure instant payment system demanded continuous technological investment. Walla needed to balance innovation with financial stability. Public policies aim to protect consumer, but they also impose strict requirements involving transparency, digital security, and data management. For Walla, meeting these standards meant undergoing audits, adapting to legal change, and absorbing new complaints costs. At the same time, governmental inclusion programs offered opportunity for collaboration for an expansion. In conclusion, the Walla case shows how a fintech company can transform financial inclusion in Latin America, and while facing significant obstacles in regulatory complexity, strong competition, cultural difference, and macroeconomic instability, all shaping its journey. Despite these difficulties, Walla has managed to grow by innovating, adapt to each market, and keeping its mission focused on democracy access to financial services across the region.